In today's video, I'm going to show you guys a hinge solution for EMT conduit that I think is really useful and pretty underrated because I haven't seen a lot of people use it, but I think it can be really helpful for a lot of different projects. And in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the solution. We're going to look at an idea or two from the community, and then I'm actually going to attach this to a build and show you a way that I think you can use it in your builds, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So stick around for that. But first, what exactly is this solution? And this just utilizes a piece of hardware that you're probably familiar with, probably seen a bunch, and this is a eye hook, and I have this in the variation where it's a bolt, and you would, just like you would imagine with a bolt, you would normally put a nut on this to secure this to a flat surface or something like that. And they also have another variation that has a pointy end that you can just hand screw into a piece of wood or something like that. And basically you can use these to make hinges. You just have to get a eye hook or eye bolt that has an opening large enough for the conduit that you're working with. So in my case, I've got a piece of 3/4 inch EMT conduit here. So I just had to make sure that this eye hook, that the head of the bolt or the hook was large enough to accept 3/4 inch EMT conduit, which is pretty close to 1 inch outside diameter. And basically you could use this, depending on the variation that you have, you could screw an eye hook directly into a piece of wood or something, or if you've got one of these that has a 1/4 20 or 3/8 16 stud sticking out, as I have here, you could thread this into a piece of EMT conduit that has a threaded pipe insert in the end of it, as I have here. Just have one of these inserted into the end, and you can thread this all the way in, and then you have a point directly in your build that you could then slide the EMT conduit inside of, and then have your hinge or your rotation inside of that. And this is basically how the hinge solution works. And this was originally shared by Bill a couple of years ago whenever we did the hinge video a few years back. And he shared this idea in a couple of photos of ways that he thought you could use it that I think are really awesome. So first of all, he's got a piece of wood here, and he's got one of these attached inside of the wood, or to the wood. And then he's got another one here. I've never seen this type before, but this is basically the same thing. It's just the hook is actually open, which is really cool. And then he's just got the 3/4 inch conduit resting inside of it, kind of like we talked about, but he's got two here, which will, kind of stabilize it and work well. And then he's also got a couple of them bolted directly into a piece of conduit, which is really interesting. Just bolted through the wall of the conduit, goes all the way through both sides, and then allows you to hinge the conduit as you can see inside of the eye hook that's bolted into the conduit, which is really cool. Kind of similar to what we've got here with the threaded insert, just a few different variations that you can incorporate this into your build and use it in different ways. Now I've got a build back here that I showed you guys a few weeks ago, and it's got two of these eye hooks attached to it already, and we're using it for a safety latch, but I'm going to repurpose it just for the sake of this video and show you guys how you could use it for a hinge. So give me 1 second and I'll see you there. So now I've got this set up in a way that I think could be really useful for making like canopies and different things like that, because I've got two of these eye hooks and they're secured into this build because, like I said, I already had this build in place and had these eye hooks here for something else. But you can imagine that you have a deck or the side of your house or something that you have these eye hooks or eye bolts going into, and then you have your EMT conduit build, and you can use the connectors to kind of capture the conduit in place. So you can see here that if I slide this, the conduit's not going anywhere. If it does, it's going to hit the connectors before it actually falls out or anything. And we could have made this even shorter so there's less movement here. But you can see the idea where this is secured in place and kind of capturing the conduit inside this. It's not going to go anywhere this way because the eye hooks are really beefy and the connectors are preventing it from sliding all the way out. And so let's say you have a canopy like I have set up here, and you want to adjust this. You can rotate it up and lock it in place. Maybe the sun moves and you want to adjust the height, or you've got rain coming. You want to rotate it down and then secure it in place. A lot of cool things that I think you guys can use this for, like I said. So I think this is an underrated solution, and I think it's going to be really useful for a lot of different projects. So I can't wait to see how you guys use it. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.